Catherine Yancey, Christian Reporter, is here with Dr. Gerald Durley, Providence Missionary Baptist Church. Was there 25 years now. He's still doing his work in the community. We're here talking about the exploitation of women and children here in the Atlanta area. Tell us what your goal is in decreasing the numbers as we see them skyrocket over the last few years.
Well, I think the primary goal here, as I said earlier, is about awareness. People do better when they know better. Right now, it's all right to come up on the 21st floor of the Wells Fargo building and talk and have lunch. But really what happens is that when we can come together and collaborate, when churches can come together with police departments, when police departments can come together with businesses, when the Convention Bureau can come together, what fuels the modern slave system of young children is a system that makes money.
Yes.
It makes millions of dollars. The three major sports entities don't make as much as the dance clubs alone in this city. So we've got to come together to begin to attack the system that creates this horrendous injustice to our young women. Yeah.
Yes, I've heard stories of women were so involved and so captivated into the lifestyle because they've been involved since their youth that even when they escape, they end up returning back to it because of the mentality that's involved in the enslavement, as you stated. How do we get to those who are victims and then just get them to think ahead?
That's very little different than black folks in America. We got out of slavery, and most of us are still enslaved, still walking around with a slave mentality, even though we have it on the books that they're free. So just because it's on the books that they're free, doesn't necessarily mean that the mentality is free. So what we've got to do now, the safe houses that you heard about, once they get out, is to work with them in their levels of self-esteem, to work with them in their levels of self-worth, to understand too I speak it that if they know that there is a God inside of them, a God that can lift them, a God that they can depend on, that they don't have to depend on the Johns and other things. And that's just a word that's very strange in our world today called love, genuine love. Not kissy love, but the love that goes deep down inside. So the kinds of programs that we set up, letting them know that you are worthwhile. You can do something. You don't need to depend on this person and or that profession to make a living. And that's what we have to do now. But it's the same thing that we're doing. That's why we have Afro-American History Week, to let us know that we don't still have to run after the larger society. We can be who we are because God created us in his own image.
Yes, and talk about the value of knowing who you are in God and the value that God places on you so that you know that you are above anything, any label, any activity you've done in the past, how that can affect our thinking going forward and becoming who God has made us to be.
Well, first of all, you got to understand one thing. We're all three parts. We're mind, body, and spirit. I see people now taking more responsibility for their bodies and their minds or their spirits. Then I see some people just going to school and learning. They're as smart as they can be, but their spirits are dead. It's only when we begin to put the spiritual essence together, because that is the core of everything. So if we understand that Jesus Christ is at the foundation, upon that foundation you can work with your mind, you can work with your education, you can work with your children, you can stand up against the atrocities that seek to destroy you. So it's an understanding. But the key thing, once you do understand the power of Christ and God in your life, don't try to be better than anyone else, because you're just a sinner saved by grace, and you can slip at any time. So you have to stay on your knees, but then while you're on your knees, reach out to somebody. Let them see you on the knees. Don't try to bring them down to your place. Let them see you, because old folks used to say, I'd rather see a sermon than hear one. Because I hear a lot of folks now out here shouting, jumping pews, throwing tambourines, and cussing each other out in the parking lot. Some kind of way, we as an African American people, as a Christian people, we've got to understand the power of when God does transformation in our lives.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gerald Durley, Providence Missionary Church. And how can we follow you or your efforts in the community?
Well, it'll be a little difficult right now because I'm doing a lot of things with Barack Obama around the country. So I'm out of the city.
So we look on the campaign trail.
Yeah, right. In fact, right now I'm working with Michelle Nunn and Jason Carter to see what we can get them done. And I retired 2 years from Providence on Cascade. So it's a young man there. I think he's doing a great job.
Wonderful. Thank you for your service. Christian Reporters Catherine Yancey, Dr. Gerald Durley.
Thank you.